Hello and welcome back to the Summoner's Guide to Final Fantasy XIV. We are now at the level 65 story dungeon of the Stormblood story. Bardam's Mettle. I better switch to party chat. Again, like pretty much everything in this series, there's a 2-level window on it, so it sinks to level 66. At level 66, there's really not much that goes on in the Summoner's skill set. The only thing that happens is your Bio 2 and Miasma upgrade to Bio 3 and Miasma 3. Miasma 2 was sadly taken away from Summoners. But now we have Bio 3 and Miasma 3, which are the fully upgraded versions of these particular spells. So, one casual word of warning on this particular dungeon. This is the first dungeon where your item level is going to be beyond, or the item level of the items that you're going to be gaining is beyond the item level that you would have ended the Heavensward content with had you acquired all the Tombstone gear and fully upgraded it. As a result, new players coming into this dungeon may find themselves a little under-geared. Not so much to make it unplayable, of course, but enough that you might want to be cautious about taking bigger pulls if you haven't upgraded your gear considerably, because there's a lot of room for improvement once you start this particular dungeon gear-wise. Of course, you will be picking up high-quality level 64 gear during the story quest, and you can, of course, melt them to make them even better. And those actually are better than your, just slightly better stat-wise than your level 60, your item level 270 gear that you get from Heavensward. So you can have a slightly improved gear set when you come in here, but of course the dungeon gear, which tends to be better, better quality overall in terms of stats. You're obviously not going to have any of that level, of that sweet level 65 gear once you start this dungeon, though you may have some by the time you get to the end. At the end of each little section of this first part of the dungeon are basically these stone tablet enemies that, once defeated, will open up the next section. This is actually a slightly longer dungeon than some of the others. Again, especially because a lot of players are a little more hesitant to do speedrunning tactics, again, merely because this is a little more challenging, especially if you have new players that haven't geared up yet. I mean, my gear is decent, but not great for this point in the story, and it's going to be that way when you first play it. Unless you are really over-leveled and get yourself some good high-quality, either craft or buy yourself some good quality gear beyond your level, but even then you're going to item level sink, so yeah. The point is that this is not going to be as much of a pushover as some of the dungeons you may have faced up to this point. It's still, on the other hand, it really isn't a hard dungeon, but it could catch you off guard if you underestimate it. These walls have a lot of HP, so don't skimp on taking them down. Alright, so I believe once you've taken down the second wall, you're at the first boss. Yes, you are! Garula. Alright, so, in this dungeon, or in this boss, you really need to worry about Garula himself, but also about the animal companions that he has scattered throughout the arena. Most notably, those cattle there are going to charge in a straight line. Sheep will do circle AoEs around them, and when the cats come out later, they'll do cone AoEs in front of them. And it's always going to be after he charges that he does this. And I think it's, I don't remember if it's just the animals that are near him, because I mean, this last time you didn't see any of the line AoEs, but I think you'll see those come out later on. And I lost my pet. We might have gotten sealed out. Oh, look, here's the cats. Okay, so now we're going to see all three of the attacks. So keep an eye out. Now, if you do get that charge attack, get as far away as possible. It'll reduce the amount of damage. Alright, now watch where the animals are. And you'll have a moment to get out of the AoEs. So there you have it. Just keep an eye on where the animals are. Try to stay out of their paths as best as possible, but know that immediately before these attacks resolve, you are going to have a moment to get out of them. So really the biggest thing to watch are the cats. Get this, because I think we're going to have a problem. Oh, perfect. I know the cats have been aiming at the wall. This is a very good thing, because we haven't had to worry about their cone AoEs. And I think it may be that he just triggers the enemies that are near him. So it may be that, again, so it's been, I'm actually not 100% on that mechanic, but I'm going to wager that, that you can probably bait him away from the cats and they won't even fire. That's it. I had never seen that tried before. I'll bet you it works. As you can probably surmise, this doesn't show up a terrible amount of time These are the exact same 2 drops as the last one. I don't need casting ring. I don't need healing. Oh wait, I did need the casting ring. Shoot. That was a casting ring. Ah, crap, I screwed that up. I thought it was the exact same two items as the first drop. I didn't realize that the ring was a casting ring. I could have used that. No, it's not that big of a deal, but it really would have improved my item level. Next time, I'm going to pay a little more attention. Okay. Actually, the pulls in this next section, I think, are a little easier than the pulls in the first section. I said about not underestimating the pulls in this area? Yeah. So yeah, like I was saying at the beginning of this dungeon, you know, because this is the first, this dungeon has kind of a little bit of an item level, or you know, of a difficulty spike on it, and because you're not going to be coming in at the ideal item level like you did in the first 2 dungeons of Stormblood, taking large pulls can be a little more dangerous in this particular dungeon. Honestly, I would consider the, at least for the tanks, I would consider the trash pulls to be actually a little more dangerous than the actual bosses. Myself have made the same mistake tanking this dungeon. I try to pick up too many and realize that I just don't have the gear to do it. This section of the dungeon really isn't terribly long. It certainly isn't as long as the first section. Alright, yeah, here we are at the second boss, and this boss is unique. This boss is all about dodging. You cannot actually attack this boss. All you can do is dodge. So each player should ideally get into one of the quadrants of this arena. And again, you really can't hurt anything here. Dang it, I screwed up. If you screw up too many times, this is what happens. If that happens to everybody, then you wipe. Basically, you get bound if you screw up two mechanics. However, if at least one person gets through, then you get to go into the next section. Tower mechanic, obviously get into the tower. Again, most of these, shoot, okay, I forgot about this. What you need to do here is just kind of run around in circles. This is one of those AoEs that follow you mechanics. Alright, that's phase 2. Now the third phase involves these rocks. Alright, when the rocks are targeted, don't be near them. Try to get behind another rock. In the end, only one rock's going to be safe, and that's where you need to be. But if you get past that, then you actually clear this boss fight. So yeah, I screwed up the eyeball mechanic in the beginning. That kind of sucked, but I hope you kind of figured out. I mean, these are all really mechanics you've seen before. You're just basically learning how to properly dodge everything. And that is a casting. That's a caster here, so I'm rolling neat on that. I should have on that ring earlier. And I'm even gonna do that. And equip it right away. Alright, third section really isn't very long either. It's basically just kind of a straight shot to the final boss. Kill enemies, dodge stuff. Now, you're going to want to kind of stay off to the sides in this particular section. Because there's going to be some rocks coming down the middle, Indiana Jones style. And you kind of don't want to be there. And man, I keep losing my pet in this dungeon. There's a big rock, so obviously don't be in the middle. And this is going to be true for pretty much this entire section. Now, this entire section really can't be, you really can't speed run it, because there's a lot of blockage. Oh, why did it have to be a code of striking? some peeps. I really need to be more conscientious of my use of diversion. Again, stay to the side. Now this is one where you could theoretically pick up that next group as well, but that's fine. Tank is, after that little incident in the second section, the tank is playing conservatively, and I can't say I blame him. I think we're past the point where you have to worry about the boulders as well. This is definitely the last pull before the boss. Now, one thing to note is that when you're playing these leveling dungeons, the ones that are not 50, 60, or 70, you will get a piece of gear guaranteed for the class that you're playing as by completing the dungeon. So I am going to get a piece of caster gear for finishing this. And I'm going to skip this. It's a large bird. Really all you need to know. And this is actually a boss with some interesting mechanics. Alright. So, first things first. I'll call out mechanics as they come because honestly I don't remember them all off the top of my head. Wind unbound. Oh, that's right. He summons a bunch of those things, which will put line AoEs around, and target people with that, so don't stack up. Alright, so that's the first thing you gotta worry about. All these line AoEs, so let's just dodge, dodge, and dodge some more. Eye of the Fierce, look away. Some ads you got to worry about. And of course, all of these attacks are just going to keep coming. Oh, and he's going to pop up on the outside of the arena and throw some attacks in too. So watch out for that. Best thing you can do in this is stay out of the middle and see if you can see where he is and stay out of that line. fight as normal. Again, it's really just a bunch of dodging. And don't stack up on people for Flutterfall. Now, there's one more thing he's gonna do if we don't manage to kill him first. This is where if I were okay. For this one, you want to kind of stay close to the middle. And this is a wonderful time to use a caster AoE. Yeah, you want to be in the middle because you see those rotating, yeah, the rotating AoEs while he's in that phase with the two wings. That, you want to be in the middle so you avoid that. But of course, that caster AoE really did a good job of ending that phase early. It's one of the few instances where it's really to your advantage to use a caster AoE in a boss fight. So, do it. Alright. Well, that's Bardam's Mettle. A little trickier dungeon than you've seen up to this point in Stormblood, but not terribly difficult, and a lot of fun. And I get the summoner weapon for this. Oh, yay, I am a happy person. And I didn't get to commend anybody. Well, shoot. Well, now I gotta keep playing that story, and next up on the agenda is Doma Castle. So until then, have a wonderful day.